Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this September edition of the AnCan Art Friends. We're so glad to have you here. And Hannah, one of my favorite things about the Art Friends class is we talk about fun things at the start. So we were talking about grains and cooking and travels and stuff like that. And you're going to take us on an adventure tonight. So why don't you share with us what you're going to be teaching, give us everything that we need to know, and start us off.
All right. Thank you so much, Alexa, for that lovely introduction, as always. So again, my name is Hannah. If you've never met me before, never seen me. And yes, you're absolutely right. We were talking about travels. And this painting in particular was inspired by my trip to Yellowstone. Back like late July, early August, I was there for a good amount of time. And of course, I had to take pictures, right? My camera roll is full of pictures of Yellowstone, and I decided on this scene. So I modified it myself. Okay, kind of have to. I modified the scene myself to make it a little bit more understandable in this picture. But I hope we have fun with it. It is an acrylic painting lesson today. So I am using a canvas. This one is a little bit larger than what I'm going to be teaching you guys with. This one right here is a 9 by 12. I'll just leave that right there. For anyone at home watching the recording of this, feel free to take a picture of this ahead of time, just so you have it on your phone, you have it next to you. So I'll leave it right there, and you can pause this and take your own picture. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and get right into it now. Our supplies. We're going to want some brushes. So I have two different brushes here, but if yours are a little bit different, that's absolutely okay. This one's a flat one. This one, we're going to want to use the flat edge to create our sky, to create our base layer for down here, for the grassy areas, and for the river. And this one, I would say the round brush that we have here is probably one of our more important brushes, because this is what's gonna give us all of our squishy texture. Now, squishy is a real word that I use all the time, professional word, okay? We'll just go with that. So we're gonna have a lot of squishy brush strokes in here. And this brush is gonna help you to achieve that. So I think I put in the supplies list like a number 4. But if you have a number 6 or even a number 8, that's okay as well. And let's get into the paints now. Oh yes, you're also gonna need some water and some napkins too. As always, you know, you're using acrylic paint. So you're gonna want some white paint. Does not matter what brand it is, but some white paint, some blue for our sky, which will make it lighter. But if you happen to already have a light blue, that's okay too. We have also some purple. So let's use some purple. Let's get some brown as well. The brown is going to be used for muting our colors and making them a little bit less vibrant, because it's the less vibrant colors that really carry the colors that are vibrant. And of course, we have green. So green for our grass. And just a side note, I don't quite remember which green I used on here, but I have a ton of green, so I just grabbed one. Whatever green you have is fine. I also have yellow. So this, any kind of yellow will do. I just grabbed your basic bright yellow. What we're going to be doing in class is we're going to be creating some more complicated greens, and I'll show you how to mix those up and just go for it. Just go for any one of those greens whenever we're painting. I think that's it. I think I got everything on my list. Oh yes, black. Actually, either black or gray. If you have gray, that would be great. We're going to use a combination of gray and purple in our clouds. Now, if there are any other colors that you'd like to use for your clouds or even for some flowers later on, I encourage you guys to bring those out. I have a multitude of colors that I never even touch. And so this would be a great painting to put some of those colored flowers in there later on, okay? So I guess I'll go ahead and break down this painting. Is there anyone who has any questions so far as far as supplies are concerned?
Yeah, I want to make sure I have all the paints. I have the gray, I have purple, I have blue, I have white, I have yellow, I have green, and that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, that's 6.
Do you have brown?
Oh yeah, and I have brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good then.
Oh, sorry.
You're doing great. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Now I want to get into breaking down the painting step by step, okay? As you can see, and if you've taken any other classes with me, you'll know that I don't like to do, I don't know, realistic things, okay? It's too hard, all right? It drives me insane. I'm very abstract. So these paintbrush strokes are very abstract as well. Think Vincent van Gogh, okay? Lots of movement. Whenever we do this part up here, you can see lots of movement in here. And I'm gonna guide you guys step by step with how to start creating those brush strokes. Same thing with the clouds. We have lots and lots of squishes, especially when we start to mix our purples and our grays. The only thing in this painting that is still and calm is the sky in the background. So I like to think of the wind sort of moving the grass along down here, especially towards the bottom where we have all of these brush strokes as well. And of course, we've got our water down here, our water reflections. So yes, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I forgot to mention earlier that you're gonna need a palette as well. So I usually use a paper plate or like a foam plate. I have one I've been using for a very long time now. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. But if you have like an actual legit palette, use it, use it. So I can go ahead and start to pour my paints out now. And I definitely want a lot of blue. That's for sure. Let's get a good amount. I'm sorry, I meant I said lots of blue. I meant lots of white. Sorry, guys. We want lots of white. I do that a lot. Lots of white. Get a good amount of blue, but not a lot. Not nearly as much as the blue. I mean, not nearly as much as the white. Okay. I can probably hold off on the other colors while we get our sky in there. And for the beginning portion, I'm going to show you guys how to blend into a gradient up here from light. We're going to start in the middle, from light all the way up to the darkest part. You're going to see some streaks, and that's okay. It's atmospheric. That's all I have to say. So let's actually start by creating a baby blue color. So a very, very light color. The mountains are covering this beginning part, okay? I had to paint right on top of my blue sky in order to create these mountains and in order to create this right here. So we're gonna be starting below the middle portion. So now that we have all that out of the way, I'm gonna move that to the side. My smaller canvas now. So let's go ahead and we've got our brush and let's just dip it in water just to grab a little bit on the brush. It doesn't need to be dripping with water, just a little bit wet. So I'm tapping it on the side here. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to my white paint and let's get a good chunk of that. I'm gonna like scoop away or scrape away about half of that white. I can always pour more out if I need to. Got a separate little pile here. Maybe the smarter thing to do would have been to do 2 different piles of white, but oh well. I'm gonna make a baby blue. So my blue in particular, I don't know about yours, but mine is a very strong color. So I'm gonna be just dipping in a little bit, just a corner at a time. Yep, I knew it. Very strong color.
I got a question about baby blue.
Yes. Go for it.
What does it mean?
No. Don't know. It's just like a very, very light blue.
It is
very light blue.
White with a touch of blue.
Yeah, that's what it is. White with just a little bit of blue.
Because I have a few other blues and I'm like, well, how do I baby them? Which
How
ones?
do you baby them? Yeah, good question. For anyone who
More
doesn't
white
know,
you have, the lighter blue gets.
what was that?
If you add more white, it gets lighter.
Yep.
I have some dark blue too. So
Oh,
I'll just
yeah,
add
yeah.
a little bit more white.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. So add more white if it's a little bit too dark. And you can always save the color that's a little too dark, you know. You can always save that too. We can use it later on as well. But once you've got that, I'm going to go ahead and locate my starting point. So I see the middle right here, and I always like to point out these specific points. So this is about the middle. So I'm going to go a little bit below the middle. It's very vague. I don't really have any unit of measurement right now, just a little bit below middle point. We want a vast area of sky. That's what we're going for. So I've got my little baby blue, and I'm going to use the flat side of the brush to scrape it across. Now I have a line across right here. I want everyone to know that we're going to go a little bit fast on this part, okay? Only because I want you guys to have the most time. I want you guys to get the most out of all of those squishy brush strokes, okay? And the majority of our sky is going to be covered up anyway, so it's okay. So I've got that baby blue. It's not a smooth line. It doesn't have to be a smooth line. What I'm going to do is work my way up with the baby blue. Work it up, always going back and forth horizontally. Got a good amount of space right there. I'm going over my brush strokes again and again and again. And this is going to be important for blending. Right now, we've got a good amount of practice where I'm just sweeping the canvas back and forth. Now, again, I mentioned we want to go kind of fast with this, okay? Because I don't want this to dry too much. I'm going to go back with my dirty brush, and I'm going to grab some white paint from the pile here. Tap, tap, tap. It's a good amount. See how there's a lot at the end of this brush. So I've just double dipped into the white, and I'm going to go right where I started, and I'm going to start to blend back and forth, moving up again. Back and forth, back and forth. Now we've got a much lighter area of babier blue on the bottom there. And I can even go further. I can even make it even lighter. You can do this as well if
Mine is
you
on the
want
top.
to.
The lighter area is on the top.
Oh, did you switch them?
I guess.
Oops. It's okay. We'll go
But
over
it
it.
looks good.
You like your blending is probably good, right?
Yeah.
Can you turn it upside down?
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, that's an option.
Yeah, you can try that. That's pretty funny. So I have a little bit of extra white, and again, I'm going to go over this spot. Back and forth, making my way up.
Do you mind saying why you're going over the spot?
This is just an easier way to blend, like get a nicer gradient. In fact, I actually want to make a little bit more of this baby blue so that we can continue upward. The only reason we didn't continue up further from here is because my paint is drying pretty fast, and we want it to be wet whenever we're doing these gradients. So I want to make more of that same baby blue. Think of this baby blue as kind of my base. This is my base color. Silly me, I could have just put it right into that little pile there. And again, I'm just going to grab a little corner of blue, just a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't darken too much. Although even if it does darken a little more than I intended, that's actually okay because this area up here is supposed to be darker. Make sure that you guys have a lot of paint on your brush. That's going to be key to keeping it wet. You see how the paint is just, the paintbrush is full with paint. There's a ton of paint on here. So if you think it's too much, it's probably perfect. I'm going to continue right where I left off, above this spot. And I actually want to just kind of go down because I want to blend. This is all about balance. I want to blend down just a little bit. I don't want to go too far because I love the way this looks personally. But because I wanted that baby blue to blend in with the baby blue, it's not confusing, right? That's why
Hey,
I went
everybody, real
downward.
quick. We got in the chat that the screen's frozen. Is it frozen for anyone else?
It's working perfect for me.
Okay. Okay, well, if it's frozen for anyone else, just let us know in the chat and we can try to fix
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Alexa. Yeah, sometimes it's my computer, but I guess not.
So
So I'm
now
gonna
I'm
take
And
this
Hannah,
blue.
I'm so sorry. If you need to come back in, I'm here the whole time and I can let you back in. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So you just said the baby blue, and now I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, which
I
one
know.
on the baby
Sorry,
blue?
Karen.
The babier
Um,
one, the one with the
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, the one with the white on it. So the one
Thanks,
down here.
baby.
Yes, the one down here. This is the lightest blue. How about that? The lightest blue. So now I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna continue onwards. Again, I filled up my paintbrush with a lot of paint. It's really going up. In fact, I'm gonna get really close to the top. We want a lot of paint there. It's pretty thick.
Hannah, do you want it darker at the top or the same?
Yeah, so once I get a little bit further, then we'll start to darken it. So in a minute or in a second, I have to make a little bit more of this original baby blue because I'm gonna climb up here. Now I've reached pretty close to the top, even touching the top a little bit. It definitely doesn't have to be precise at all. You can see I definitely went further than I intended, and that's okay. The only important part is to go back to your original blue, your baby blue, and pick up lots of paint, pick it up, squish it into your brush, make sure it's really in there. And then you're gonna wanna tap, tap, tap a little bit of your dark blue at the end of your brush. A little bit of dark blue right at the end there. See that? Because this blue is going to make its way to the top here. Once you're ready, I have the dark blue on my brush. So I'm going to go right at the edge, right up here, and it's going to be bold. It's going to be bold, bold blue. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over my brush strokes again and again and again. And because we have that reserve of baby blue in there, it's blending. It's blending pretty nicely. Personally, I feel like for myself, for my painting, I could use more blue. I could use more of the tap of blue, that dark blue. So what I'm going to do, and if you're this way as well, go back and grab some more of your baby blue to load it back up. Load it back up. Really work it in there. I'm twisting my brush over and over and over again. So now I can go back and tap, tap, tap some of this dark blue. Start all over again. Start at the very top. All over again. Do those brush strokes again. It's even bolder blue now, but I love it. Because I have a lot of that baby blue in my brush, I can go over these brush strokes again and again and again. I've moved just a little bit further downward in order to blend it. And voila, I'm done. There is just a little bit of this, what do you call it? Like, where the brush was kind of dry, like there wasn't very much paint on it. I guess you can't really see it on screen, but if you need to, you can always go back in and just add a little bit more of the baby blue. The key here is going over those brush strokes again and again and again. And if you feel like yours has a lot of atmospheric streaks in it, that's okay, because this is the sky, and in fact we're going to be putting some clouds all over those spots. So if there's any spots in particular that you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get it right, you can cover it with a cloud. This is why I love projects like this. Do you guys have questions? Any questions about your particular piece? I know we did that kind of fast, but again, I wanted that to blend pretty well, and it blends well when it's more wet.
Are you
Blends better
wrapping it
when it's wet.
around the edges of your,
Ooh. I have a flat canvas board. I will show you on the regular one. Sometimes I don't. In fact, on the original piece, I did not wrap it around.
I see. Okay.
Well, actually, I did at the bottom. Like I remembered that I should wrap it around, but then I just forgot. It's personal preference.
You forgot to sign it.
I did. I know. I do that a lot.
You forgot
I
what?
do that a lot. I forgot to sign it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah. At least digitally, when I was making the flyers, I put the AnCan logo on it at least. But yes, you're right. I always forget to sign my own pieces. When you're finished, you can actually rinse your brush. So we are finished with the baby blue for now. So when you're done, just kind of rinse it. What I like to do whenever I rinse my brush is I like to bounce it on the bottom of the cup here. I'm still treating the bristles as a unit. So I'm still just kind of swiping. I'm not like pounding it, like roughly. I'm just swiping it, treating the bristles as a unit. And that's how you can really save your brushes and make them last a little longer. Now, because we used so much paint, I'm probably going to have to go back and forth between the napkin and the water, and that's okay. This happens. So you can see a little bit of that white paint peeking through. But honestly, even if some of it comes out later, it's okay. I just want to get most of it off for now. I'm going to rinse it one more time, even though I wiped it with a napkin. I had to turn around and see which kitty cat's behind me. I always have cats around me. No Callie this time. This time it's Cora. It's my black cat. All right. Nice and clean. Now, the next step is we want to jump down to our greenery. Let me go ahead and show you guys the original picture. Now, remember how I mentioned that our mountains and this part right here, like these bits of clouds, those are going to be located on top of our blue over here. So anything below this line is going to be green. And I want to start to make a medium green. If you have a medium green already pre-made for you, then that's great. Use that green. But what I'm looking for is just a base coat of green. But before we do any kind of mixing or before we even put the green on, I actually want to draw out my borders for my river over here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do that. So I am
So
going to
is
switch
your
gears.
river, the river, oh, it's below the sky. That's a new thing.
Yeah, this is totally new now. I've got a little bit of the grassy area, the greenery peeking down from down here. Honestly, if you wanted to have fun with it, you don't even need to make this funky shape right here. You can make whatever, you can have it however thickness you want. You could even turn it into a pond if you don't want a river, for example. Doesn't really matter. So again, switching gears. And the only reason I have this part here is because the original picture, it has like this kind of dip here. So that's why I included it. Now I'm going to start to pour out my green. We're basically just going to draw the shape of our river right now before we do anything else, because we want to kind of mark out our areas. I do this all the time whenever I'm like mapping things out on a picture. I will actually draw with paint and not draw with any kind of like charcoal or pencil. For some reason, I'm personally just more comfortable drawing with paint. And what I'll do is I'll take water. So it's got a lot of water. In fact, it's about to drip off of there. And I'm going to grab some of my green, water it down. And this absolutely does not have to be precise at all. We just want it to flow better. And the water is going to help it to flow. That's all. We're going to cover this line up completely. In case you haven't guessed it by now, we're going to cover this line totally. So I'm going to draw. Oops. Sorry, guys. Always manage to drop something during class. I'm going to draw this border at the top here first, and then I'll come down here and I'll draw the bottom border of the river. So top border first and just go for it. Definitely does not have to be a perfect line at all, because again, we're going to cover this up. This is just to mark our area. That's all. In fact, you can rinse your brush whenever you're done with that, because we're going to move on back to the large brush just for a little bit. Now, here's what you can do if, say, maybe you have a dark green and that's all you have is a dark green. Well, luckily for us, the other colors on our list were yellow and blue. So adding more yellow to your green is going to make it lighter. Same thing with white. If you add white and yellow, it's going to make it a lighter color. So if you have a very light green, perhaps much lighter than this, and you kind of want to change it up, add a little bit of blue to it. So add blue to that and it's going to darken it up. It'll do the opposite. It's all about balance with these things. Just in case you need to mix anything, what you're going to do is you're going to want to take, say maybe you want to make a lighter blue. You're going to want to mix just a little bit of green with your yellow. And this right here is for those of us who need to create a medium green, okay? Now, if you already have a medium green, then you're all set. That's how I mix. I just wanted to show you real quick how I mix my colors whenever I'm mixing. I always use the smaller brush. Use a small brush to mix things together. But for everyone else, we are going to be using the larger brush just to paint a base of that green. do y'all have questions before I move on? All right. You guys are rock stars. Okay, you guys are great. I am going to take my brush. It's been cleaned off. Okay, it's still kind of wet, so that's perfect. And I actually have to pour out a little bit more paint for myself. There you go. So I want to grab my green and I want to give it a good coat. Give the canvas a good coat of green. I'm following along that horizon line that I made earlier. It's
This
just
is not
gonna
your
look...
lighter green. This is the normal
Nope.
green.
Yep,
Okay.
this is the normal green. You got it. Now, the line up here, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to, you know, have a ton of paint on it. We just want that base of green. So you're not trying to be as precise as we were with the sky. Just put it down. Same thing with the bottom. Just fill it in, and you got it. Oh wait, I somehow, I guess because there's so much glare, I tend to miss like some of the white of the canvas. It always peeks through. Must be the glare.
How much up did you go on to the baby blue?
The baby blue, it's most of the canvas. In fact, I went
Oh no, I
all
meant
the
with
way.
but like with the green, that line, is it right at the bottom
Oh, yeah, it's right at the bottom. Yeah, like right
of the?
where I started. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. When you're finished with the green, you can rinse your brush. And I don't think we're going to be using this brush for a little while, so you can just kind of clean it and set it aside. Trying to remember if I use this big brush for the river down here. It'll come to me. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a base coat for our mountains. We're gonna put our mountains in there. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We're not gonna do that right now. Nope, not gonna do that right now. Sorry, guys. I remembered that I actually put these clouds in there first before I put the mountains. For these clouds, put those in there first. So yeah, we'll wait on the mountains. Let's go ahead and get a base coat for our water. So the river down here. Do this part only if it's more dry down here. So for me, I'll just have to wait like a minute or so for that. But in the meantime, I can always make some more baby blue because we're going to put some baby blue in there. So we just need a little bit more of that baby blue. And just depending on the size of your river, you may want to use either the big brush if it's a big area or the small brush if it's just a small area. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But I've got a good, like a small amount of my white there, so I want to make that baby blue again. Trying to be very careful with it. There, it's pretty good. Now, because this is such a tight area with like some tight spaces to wrap around, I'm actually going to water down a little bit. So I'm going to dip the surface of my water. So I've picked up some water on my brush. So I can mix that in with a little bit of my baby blue. Now remember, because I've added more water, it'll flow more easily. More water equals more flow. And you'll have an easier time getting it into tighter spaces, no matter what brush you're using. If you happen to crisscross and accidentally go on top of your greenery, or maybe you accidentally swipe some greenery in your water, that's okay too, because we have a lot to do. I'm just going to use the thin edge of the brush to kind of get around this curve here. The only important thing is that we just get a base, get that base in there. Doesn't matter what it looks like right now. And there you have it. Rinse the brush again. Got my base coat in there. We're good. Rinse our brush. I'd like to jump up into the sky in a moment now. I feel like the sky will give you enough practice for when we need to come down into the land down here. Because we're going to do lots and lots and lots of squishy brush strokes there. You'll get lots of practice squishing around and using lots of white paint. And I mentioned we're going to use a lot of white paint. Now, if you want to do something a little bit different from the clouds that you see here, we're going to make some gray in a minute here. And I use the gray and the purple together. So I have little moments of gray, I have moments of purple, I have moments where they both mix together, especially down here. I want you guys to create as many clouds as you want to do, okay? You don't have to do do yours exactly like mine, okay? Have fun with it. And like I said, another color that I could suggest to use either alongside these two colors or in place of these two colors might be teal. So you can maybe like pull out a teal and use a teal for that. If you guys can think of any other colors, let me know. Let us know. We will be moving back to the round brush now. It's nice and clean. I want to go ahead and pour out a lot of white paint. I'm going to pour out a little bit of purple. There's really not a whole lot of purple. Like my particular purple is pretty dark for the most part. So because of that, I'm not going to be using a whole lot. As you can see, all of this mixture in here, this is generally a lighter purple. So not a whole lot. I do want to create some gray. Now, if you have some gray that's already pre-made, then perfect. You are on the right track. But for the rest of us, we'll have to make our own gray. So just, black is a very, very strong color. Yeah, exactly. Black is a very strong color. So it's like a dot. I have like one droplet of black. That kind of tells you just how much we need, right? In fact, I'm going to pour out a separate little paint pile right next to my black. This is going to be for my gray. Whenever I mix, I'm going to use my clean brush, my clean pointy brush. I'm just going to tap just a little bit, tiny little bit. You can barely see that. And start small. Start small, mix it all up. We're looking for more of like a light gray. Yeah, maybe a light gray. That'll give you some wiggle room. Mix it all up. We're actually going to do the same thing with the purple too. So whenever you're done with the gray, you can actually just rinse it off. And we'll do the exact same thing with the purple. We're gonna do a lot of dipping back and forth. Our brush is gonna be a dirty brush, so we're not gonna clean it too much. Just giving you a little heads up there. So again, with the purple, because mine is pretty dark, I wanna pre-mix like maybe like a medium purple. So I have a separate little bit of white paint there. I'm gonna tap just a little bit of this purple. Mix it up with my little pile there. I think I can probably go a little darker than that, actually.
How many colors are we mixing up here, Hannah?
Just two. Got our gray and we got our light purple.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
Did you mix more? For anyone who wants to do something different and maybe use a teal in their clouds, you can do the same thing. Just kind of depends on you and your paints. So I have 3 piles of paint that I'll be using: my white, my gray, and my light purple.
Do you have
White,
to keep it to the
gray.
2 colors, or?
No, you can do more. No, you can absolutely do more. I wasn't going to show this until later, but I did a painting that is very much the same as the one that we're doing now, but I did a lot more of these types of brush strokes. So this is a more complicated version. So as you can see with the more complicated version, I added some blue to the sky, and that made more depth. So I added extra blue, but everything else mostly the same. This is like much more built up version. And I'll bring that back later too, just in case anyone wants to see that.
It does look a little scary though, so it's good you started with the easy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, you know how I always like to make like a different version of whatever we're doing, just in case you want to go crazy. I still kind of have that cough that I've had for a few weeks. Okay.
Do you have COVID?
Nope, not that I know of. I tested twice for COVID and didn't have anything.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there
but
is
who
a bunch of
knows?
stuff. There's a bunch of stuff going around too, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? It could be a different variant, but
it can also
Right.
be, it really sounds almost like when you take hypertensive meds, you get this cough. It's just uncomfortable. You know, it doesn't sound like a sick person's cough. It sounds it's just like an irritating cough. So I'm wondering.
I did have a flare up of allergies. It rained one time, maybe about a month ago, which I think is about when that started. So I'm guessing it's allergies, which just haven't gone away. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so let's make some clouds, and we're gonna make some big fluffy clouds. Okay, you know how I poured out a lot of white paint? Well, we're gonna start to build our cloud with the white paint. So you'll get a hang of squishing the paint around and kind of getting a feel for it. So I'm gonna saturate my brush in lots of paint, and this is really key here. Okay, see that? It's a lot of paint. That is a ton of paint. Whenever I build up my clouds, I like to start in the middle of my cloud. So my middle is here, and I'm going to start to build all around it. I'm going to swirl and squish and swirl and squish some more. See how it's moving all over the place? And I'm very slowly going to start to build it up and build it out. Clouds, they're very billowy. So much texture, which we're going to be able to create with all of this movement.
I think I'm creating a thunderstorm.
Well, I'm using white first. Use white first.
Okay.
Yeah, use white first. The reason I use the white first is because it gives us a cushion so that we don't have thunderclouds.
Okay, I'll
That's
put some
okay.
more.
Keep going. Keep going. I'm so excited to see what yours looks like.
Oh no, it's not a Van Gogh, but I know that.
Now, the thing that I tend to do, I don't always mean to do it, but I tend to make clouds with a flatter bottom down here and kind of down here. You don't have to do that. That's just something that I tend to do. You can definitely give them more shape than that if you want to. This is all about you now, okay? I can kind of.
It's always all about me, Hannah.
You're right. Good for you. Should be. So I got one cloud there. I'm pretty proud of that one. I'd like to do another one. So let's make my new one. Start in the middle-ish, and kind of build it up from there. I'd like this cloud to be a little bit higher in the sky. In case you haven't noticed by now, my brush is flattening out. I'm kind of holding it in such a way that it flattens out. There's a lot of texture here, and we're about to add even more texture. And I can see some of my clouds kind of like these two clouds, they're getting in the way of each other, but that's okay.
I kind of like this part.
It's so fun, isn't it? Squishing paint is fun.
Mine looks more like a sandstorm.
You have brown in it?
Okay.
Oh no.
I cannot wait to see these. I cannot wait. I'm genuinely.
Cloud police is going to say that does not look like a cloud, you know? There's
Cloud
something that
police.
looks like a cloud, and that is not it. So we don't have to worry about the cloud police.
I mixed some Sahara in it.
Now I have 3 clouds, but if you want to do more, if you want to do less, that's okay. You do you. I'm making just a little cloud down here. I kind of want this cloud to look like it's rolling off the page. So I'll do that. In a moment here, we're going to add some color. We're going to add, we could probably start with our purple. We'd start with our purple. So anytime you're ready, again, notice how I have a lot of paint, okay? I'm not going to rinse my brush, okay? And in fact, I've reloaded it with white paint, reloaded. And I can go back and grab purple right on top of it. You can do this anytime you're ready. So again, this is the light purple that we just created using your light purple. Light purple on here now. And I want to start in the middle of my cloud and squish around. Squish around, and that's going to start to blend it. Where I started, that's the darkest part. Keep that in mind. Where I start is the darkest part, and then where you end up will be the lightest part because you have so much of this white here. So where I end up, this is the lightest part. There, I want you guys to see that. Now, in the event that you feel like it's a little bit too much, oh no, I've added too much. So what I can do now, if you want to, just depending on you, but you can always wipe some of that paint off on your napkin and go right back into your white paint, right back to your white paint. And let's tone it down. We're going to balance it out. Squish it around. And now I feel so much more comfortable with that one spot. You can go over some spots with some pure white. And if you were to let the brush strokes sit there without blending them, just let the brush strokes be brush strokes, it will give it more depth. So right on that dark spot, all I did was take some extra white, and I'm not going to blend it. I'm just spreading it a bit, and I'm letting them be brush strokes, letting them do their thing. So right here, maybe I'll put a little more.
So Hannah, you're using your same brush for white and purple and okay.
Yeah. I'm hardly, I'm not rinsing my brush at all. And in fact, the whole reason I don't like rinsing my brush while I'm doing this kind of technique is because if you have a clean brush, it'll take the paint off. It'll take it away. So I like to just use what I've got. So I'm just going back in here, letting those brush strokes be brush strokes. Now, before I get too far, remember we have that gray too. That gray is going to make the darker parts even darker. So when you're ready, we're gonna take a leap of faith here. We're gonna dip our brush into the gray that we just made. Don't need a lot. And I'm gonna go into the dark parts here. And again, I'm gonna start to round a bit or tap it around. Generally sticking to the darker areas, but honestly, I don't have very many dark areas, so I can spread it even more. And I can always rebalance it with more white, meaning apply more white if you want to get rid of some of that darkness. See that? I've gone back over it with white. Now, we could spend a very long time on one cloud. So I'm going to jump to the next cloud. It's begun to dry a little bit. So what I want to do is apply a little bit more paint on it. White paint. Just to get, some of these areas that are dry. And then go right back in with my purple paint first. Tap, tap, tap. Repeat the process all over again, knowing that where I start is going to be darker, where I end up is going to be lighter. Keep on going. Before I add any more white to it, I may as well just add the gray. I think I'm changing things up on you guys just a little bit. Add that gray right on top. This is really gonna push it back. Then I can go back in and I can rebalance it out with some white paint. Make some of these areas darker. Smush it around. Yeah.
So I have a boatload of paint, but I keep pulling it up and getting back to the blue somehow.
Pulling it up. Oh, you mean you're getting the sky back?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? I'm curious about that. Was the sky dry?
Shit. I mean, I hope. Maybe it was tacky. I don't know.
Maybe it was tacky. That's the only thing I can think of that could have been happening.
Okay.
What brand of paints are you using?
Like 3 different kinds.
Oh, okay.
I got Apple Barrel, I got Artist Loft, and I have Crafter's Closet. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that shouldn't have done anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I had an answer for you, Brandy.
That's okay. Clouds have holes.
They do. They really do. And maybe some of that blue will blend in with your white to create like a baby blue, maybe. That would be nice to see. So I'm going to jump down here to my last cloud and kind of replenish it with more white. I'm at the point where I need to pour out some more white paint now. There we go. Replenish. Got some more white on there. And now I can go back in with some purple once again. where I started is darker than where I end up. Anytime I'm painting, I'm always listening to music, or if I'm not, I have something going on in my head, and sometimes I have to like repeat what I've told myself. So adding the gray now. Tap, tap, tapping that in. And then going over it with some white. Tapping some white, maybe doing a few swirls in there. Doing clouds is so fun. I love doing clouds so much. What I want to do now is go down here to this horizon line area, and let's do those clouds that are in the distance. Whenever I was doing these clouds, I was reminded of Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. At the bottom, close to the mountains and close to the town, there's this billowy area of yellow and white and like an ochre color. And it's more like a rolling clouds kind of scenery. And so I wanted to create something similar to that. So you see not so much squishy brushstrokes or rounded brushstrokes, but more like I think maybe rolling hills. Like it's more curvy. So what I'm going to do is go to my white paint and once again fill her up. And you're probably going to end up overlapping your greenery down here. It's just natural. It just comes with the territory. So what I'm going to start off doing is doing these swipes, these arcs, I should say. These are more arcs.
Is this a new paintbrush?
Nope, same one.
Hmm.
Same one. I know it's a little difficult to see the lines, but start to do these arcs. And you'll get the hang of it the more you do them.
So they're going to be clouds, but just different kind of clouds?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a different kind of cloud. What I'm going to do in a moment here is I'm going to add some purple, some of the light purple that we mixed up. And again, I have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm refilling often. But yes, you're right. This is a different kind of cloud. Once you have a cushion of white going all the way across, got that cushion. Now I can go into my lavender or my light purple, scrape some on my brush, and start to go over it. I'll probably have to make some more in a moment. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering, like, why is this not blending? It's because it's drying up really quickly. So I'm going to go back and grab more white, put it right on top. Same kind of brush strokes. It's all about balance here. Now I need to make more of this light purple. So give me a moment, please. There we go. Okay. Scrape that in. Go back to my white dirty brush still. We still have not rinsed this brush. Pushing back some of these brush strokes. I can even like make them a little uneven. For me, that makes it a little more realistic when nothing is even. Maybe these are a little taller. These kind of stretch up a bit. It's just a different type of cloud, that's all. Now, remember, the more you go over these brush strokes, the more it's going to blend together. So at a certain point, we want to leave it alone. We want to just let it be. I say that and I start to add more streaks. That's all. And I personally love how uneven this is, because I love it when it like stretches up in some spots and then dips down a bit in other spots. But that's just me. I love it that way. Right. Now, while we are in the business of making clouds, we're actually going to get to turn our paintings upside down for a bit. Why, you ask? Well, we have to make some clouds in our water down here. And when I was making these two versions of paintings, I found it easier to understand the mirror effect when I turn my canvas upside down. So, and I know that you can't really see a ton in here because I added a lot more of these blues here. That wasn't exactly the case for the other version. The other version, you can definitely see the clouds underneath all of that. So put in as much effort as you want, okay? As long as you have some white reflecting some of the clouds, you're good. You're right on track. I'm still not going to rinse my brush, even though I have some purple or light purple mixed in here. Still not going to rinse my brush because it's just not the time. In fact, our clouds, they have purple in there, so it's okay that we're not rinsing it. When you're ready, flip it upside down. And I know that we've been painting very abstracted clouds. Well, these clouds are going to be even more abstract, okay? They're not going to look exactly the way you put it in here. So I'm going to take my white paint, and I can see I've got one cloud here, so maybe I'll start here and just kind of point upwards and start to just tap the cloud in. But this is also water, so I'm also, in addition to my little swirls here, I'm also going to be moving side to side just a little bit. I'm going to pick up my brush just a little bit so I can have like a smaller paintbrush stroke. Pick it up just a little bit and then leave it alone. So it's a combination because we have the ripples of the water that are horizontal, they're sideways. I'm gonna include that also in my cloud shapes. So right now, I'm gonna zoom this out a bit. I have two clouds over here, and honestly, there's not enough space to do two clouds. So you guys don't worry about it if you feel like you have to do two clouds. You definitely don't have to do two clouds. There's not a lot of space here. So as long as it's correlated in the same direction, you're fine. So I'm going to start off with my billowy swirls. Move it out a bit, just like before. And then comes the horizontal brush strokes. So press down lightly if you can.
It's not the baby blue again.
No, not the baby blue. We're just using white.
Just white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just white. You got it. And we are gonna. What was that?
That's the river, right?
Oh, yeah, we're in the river. Mm-hmm.
And you make it white, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it. So I'm in the river, which we previously colored it that baby blue, but now we're painting the white paint from the clouds on top of it. So I got a few more of these little streaks. We will be adding more streaks with different colors later. We'll do that later. It was just important that we get the general shape of the clouds in there first. That's all. Whenever you're finished with that, flip it over. And doesn't that look amazing? I mean, I feel like, I don't know, when I first did the mirror effect, I felt very accomplished, and I hope you guys do too. And again, we'll put some gray in there later. We'll put some more blue streaks in there later. We'll get to it. When you're finished with all of your clouds, wherever they need to go ahead and rinse your brush. Rinse, rinse, rinse. You may need to rinse several times because again, we just used a lot of paint. So it's really gonna work its way into the brush. If you need to go back and forth and clean it in the water and then wipe it in the napkin, you can do so. The next step, and it'll go faster than you think, actually. It's not as what's the word?
Labor
Tedious.
intensive.
Yeah, tedious, labor intensive than you might think for this next part. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the original painting again. I'm so excited, you guys. I love seeing the finished pieces. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create different kinds of greens right now. And I want you guys to take a look. We've got our mountains in the background, right? And we'll get to those mountains. But really I want this different type of cloud to dry first before we do that. So we're gonna jump into our grassy area while we wait for that to dry. But we're gonna create some different types of greens. And what I did was I created a dark green. So I used my blue plus my green that I had straight out of the bottle. That makes a dark green that you see back here. And I also have a light green as well. So I have, what I did was I mixed the yellow plus the green plus the white. And then I also have a different green that has a little bit of brown in it too. That brown is excellent for muting colors and making the colors less vibrant, but that's a good thing. I feel like the neutral colors, they really help the other colors that are bright to stand out. So you can see some of that brown in, like, right here. Think of mud, right? It's like right next to the river, so it's going to have a little bit of dirt in it. It's going to be a little muddy. Therefore, we have the brownish green over here. But we also have it over here, just a little bit in the distance as well. So we're going to have all of these greens ready for us at our disposal. Same thing about whenever we were working on the clouds, we had these three colors readily available to us. So I'm going to start to pour out my different paints. I definitely need more green. This is my regular green. Got a good amount there. I'm probably going to need more yellow. Just knowing me, I tend to use a ton of it. For me, I have this spare bit of white on the side, but if you need more white, go ahead and pour that out. Same thing with your blue. I see my blue is starting to dry over, so I'm gonna move that little bit of crustiness aside. Let's go ahead and make our light green first. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the majority of this yellow and scooch it aside and get my own little paint pile. Then I'll take a little bit of my green, just a tad bit, mix that together. It's going to create like a nice light green. It's very pretty to look at. Love this green. Mix that all together. I'm going to try to stay in my little paint pile here. There we go. I just want to scrape some of it off. No need to rinse your brush because we're about to make a darker green. So I'm gonna actually jump over here to my my medium green. Like it's the same green that I used to make the base. So I'm gonna scooch some of this aside. And then take a little bit of that blue. For me, I know that my blue is pretty dark, so I want to make a good amount of it because I want enough to be able to take this pile aside, take this dark green aside, and add some brown to it. I'm gonna make a lot of this green. I want to have enough to make to add some brown to it. Beautiful. I love this green. So much so, I'm gonna make some more. Okay, now I'm going to move to the side here. I'm gonna take this dark green here, and I forgot to pour out my brown, but I want to pour some brown out so I can add it to the dark green. We're gonna create our muted green. Just a little bit at a time, see how it goes. We just want to tint it brown. I like that. It's like a nice forest green. Lovely. Now I have my family of greens here. Got a whole family. And since we are on the darkest color now, this is the brownish green. We're going to start to add that to the back of our painting. It's going to be a little bit scary because it's such a strong color, but we have a lot of other colors to layer on top of it and sort of push it back a little bit. So let's go, and when we do this part, we're going to do a lot of squishing, okay? And I want to actually, I'm bringing this back because I want you guys to see the types of brush strokes I'm doing. These brush strokes are more, they're horizontal, but they're kind of wavy. They're a little bit wavy. So I like to think of, this is the grass and this is it moving in the wind. The wind is making it flow this way, but it's for the most part more horizontal. When I do this, I'm going to go back and forth between all of my greens. Just know that the darker greens are going to be in the back. The lighter greens are going to be closer to the front up here, with the exception of this one right here that's right by the water. Remember, water's got mud in it. That was the idea behind it. So I have my darkest green. I'm going to start to streak it all the way across. I've got a ton of it on my brush, and that's a good thing. Because remember, we're using a lot of paint here. We don't want any of this to look flat. So once I have it way in the back here, start to kind of bring it up to the front a little bit. Kind of make things uneven. Shake things up a little bit. Make it uneven. I'm going to be moving from back to front, back to front, and also moving darkest to lightest, darkest to lightest. So now that I've got some of that back here, I can now maybe go into my other grain, maybe add some of this grain. Once you get the hang of it, I want you guys to let your brush strokes just be brush strokes. So I'm filling in this area because it's kind of the back area, filling it in with my next darkest green, swiping up, I'm sorry, not up, in more of a fluid motion. I'm thinking of the wind blowing the grass, and the grass is just kind of moving. Now I've gone further. I'm closer now. So now I can move on into my next green. This is just my regular old medium green. Maybe I can push some of that back. Maybe I can kind of blend it in with some of this dark green here. It's a beautiful mess. And I'm going to add, like, reapply some of this green because I want this regular green to be wet whenever I put the light on top of it. So I'm just moving along, I'm at the front now. Moving on, just adding a little bit more to the back there. Because it's wet, a lot of it is blendable. A lot of it can blend a little bit, so be mindful of that. Now that I've reapplied my regular green, I can move on into my lightest green. Tap, tap, tap that in there. I want to start to add that. I love the way this green just stands out. I'm swiping it in here, swiping. I feel like there's a Dora the Explorer joke in there somewhere.
I was thinking about swipe or no swiping.
Yeah, but we do want to swipe. It's also important to just let your brush strokes be brush strokes. And I know I say that a lot, but I say that because it's so hard to allow yourself to do that. It's so hard to do that. It took me years to be able to paint more freely like this because my inclination was just to blend and just keep on going over my brush strokes. And that's okay too if you're trying to actually blend. But I wanted my brush strokes to be free. Can't let them be free if you're marking them all over again. So what I'm doing now is, now that I've added some light green all the way over here, I'm just going back and I'm adding maybe just a little bit more. I'm moving back here and making more contrast back here. The way you handle adding extra brush strokes is completely up to you. You can keep on following the same direction you've been following. You can go back and forth to different colors in any order you want. In fact, you can even add pure yellow. So especially up at the front here where it's the lightest, you can add that pure yellow right there. A little bit goes a long way, and it really helps to bring out more of that movement. And again, letting those brush strokes just be brush strokes. Let them do their thing. You can always go back and maybe I'll add a little bit more of my regular green back here. I'm thinking about how it's darker in the back, lighter in the front. So actually I'm going back to my dark green here. There we go. I've allowed those brush strokes to shine. You guys should be proud of yourselves. It's a good painting if you want to try to do more abstract things, more Van Gogh. What I want to do down here by the shoreline, I want to go back and I want to add that dark green. I'm sorry, that brown green. So actually for me, I have to make a little bit more. And again, I'm still not rinsing my brush. All of these greens are just mixing together. So I've got my brown green. Whenever you get the chance, see if you can scrape along the edge here. For me, my brush strokes are kind of thick. I feel like I'm putting down more paint than I intended. So if that's you, you can always go back and remember how I said water helps it flow better. I'm just going to tap at the top, at the surface of my water cup here, and mix a little bit of water in with my little pile here. Again, the water is going to help it flow better. It's going to give you thinner brush strokes if I just press down more lightly. Now, since we're right at the shore, it is absolutely okay to go over the water line a little bit. Trying to press down a little more lightly. Pretty happy with that. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Even like this brush stroke right here, I like that one. Unintended brush stroke, but it's probably one of my favorites along the shore here. Once you're ready, you can start the process all over again in this little area right here. However, because it's so close to us, I didn't really put a whole lot of this brown green. I mean, you can see a little bit, of course, but mostly it's the medium green and it's the yellow and the light green. The lighter colors is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not going to rinse my brush. I'll probably just wipe it a little bit. It will be nice to have some of that brown green kind of show up in some places. I want to go back to my medium green to just refresh the area. And again, I'm going for that rounded look. I want to round this area. Refreshing with my rounded brush strokes. Just kind of moving in an arc shape, almost an arc shape. And then now that I've refreshed it with my regular green, I'll go back and let's go to the light green. Got a lot of light green here. Swipe that in. It's totally okay if you overlap the water on accident, because you can think of it as blades of grass, perhaps. Blades of grass are they're just sticking up. It's just what they do. And again, I'm just making these swipes. I'm letting those brush strokes do what they're gonna do. I can even go in and add yellow, pure yellow to it. Make it stand out even more. Maybe I'll add just a little bit right over here. I'm going back to my original spot here and just adding a little bit of yellow. Cool. I told you guys it was gonna go faster, faster than you thought. We're almost finished, okay? We're very close. Whenever you're finished with the greenery, you can rinse your brush. And let's put just a few darker brush strokes in the water right now. So I put a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue, a little bit of more white just to kind of blend it in a bit more. So gray and blue and white, gray and blue and white. It'll be an option if you want to add purple, you can add purple. If you want to add a little bit of green for a little bit of algae, you can do that too. You can kind of make it like a bluish green color if you want. I'll let you do that on your own time. I just want to show you how to create those streaks first. I'm going to be utilizing water because, again, we want flowy lines, smoother lines, thinner lines. Water is going to help with that. So go over here and let's start with gray. I have a bit of water on my brush, but I'm gonna pick up some more. Let's pick it up off the surface here. And I'm going to just kind of water it down a bit. I'm using gray. And then let's go right onto the surface. I'm going to follow along with some of those white lines that I put in there earlier. Pressing down just slightly, you know, as lightly as you can. I know it's kind of a tough spot, but if you have a smaller brush, that might help you. Some of these lines are kind of broken up. They're definitely not even at all. Kind of broken up, and they're going right on top of my clouds, my cloud reflections, going right on top of the cloud reflections. For a little bit of variation, you can perhaps mix a little bit of the watery gray with just some of your blue. Let's see what I can do to try to get this blue. So now I've got like a bluish gray. It's watered down already, so I can go back in here with my bluish gray. Give it some extra little oomph. More of those lines there. And again, you're welcome to add some brown to it, some green. For me, I'll leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that so that I can show you how to do the mountains. I'll want a little bit more blue for the mountains because what I'm going to do is mix blue, purple, and brown. We don't need a whole lot. It should be dry by now. Blue, purple, and brown. I don't quite remember the ratio. So you can just start off with like 1 part each, you know, 1 part purple, 1 part brown, 1 part blue. Okay, so I got my brown, got my blue, and it absolutely does not have to be an even mixture if you don't want it to be. It's gonna look kind of gray, like a dark gray. But again, add more blue if that's what you want, or add more of whatever. Just as long as it's dark. That's the only thing that matters. If it's dark, you're good. So I've got a good amount of that on my brush. I want to grab just a teensy tiny bit of water from the surface of my water cup. Make it a little more flowy. There we go. It's a little bit more flowy. Excuse me. And now I can start to make the mountains. So what I'm going to do is scrape it across the horizon line first, and I can press down. They can be thicker brush strokes.
Is that like a gray? Sorry, I can't tell.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's blue and brown and purple all mixed together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got it. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry, guys. Now I just want to fill in the bottom there, go across that horizon line. I'm going across all of my my clouds. From there, I can start to build my mountains. Shape them out. This is the really fun part. I love this part. Shape them out. And fill them in. And as an option, while it's still wet, you can make some streaks of purple if that's what you want, or perhaps even streaks of blue. So I've built them all in. They're all in there. So I can go back into my purple and maybe add some streaks of purple just to give it a little texture. Have that texture match the rest of your painting. I'm just going along the ridges here, following the shapes that I've already set forth. Maybe even grab a little blue too. Do the same thing with blue. I feel like I need to balance that out though. There. Added more mountain color on top of that blue. Even it out. When you're finished, sign your work. I'd like to open the floor now for anyone who wants to share.
Yes, it is our favorite time of the show where you come on down and you share your artwork with us if you are comfortable in doing so. There's no pressure to share, of course. So, Hannah, I will remove the art cam spotlight. And if you would like to show us just, get our attention.
Well, it's not art, but I can show you.
We'd love to see it.
We'd love to see it, Barbell. Would you like to show it?
Where are
I
you,
don't know
Barbell?
if you
Looking.
can see it.
Ah, there you are.
Your background's a little blurry. I think you got the blur on, so we can't.
Oh, that could very well be. I have to change that.
Here, while you're working on
The
that, we
background
can
is blurry,
show
you said.
Heather's.
Yeah, while you're working on that, we'll show Heather's.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! Oh my gosh!
Look at those scenes.
What in the world? This is blowing my mind, guys.
I feel like
This
it could
is
be in
so
3
pretty.
different countries.
So it's the Rocky Mountains. Look at it.
Yeah,
Oh
it's the
my
Rocky Mountains. They're so
gosh.
pretty.
Look at you
And
guys.
I love the stones in the middle of that river. They're so beautiful.
I know
They
that's
all
such a
have.
nice touch.
I'm really loving the middle picture. I think those clouds are my favorite clouds out of all of them.
Aw.
And as for like the one that you're holding, Heather, I really love your mountains. I love that it looks like there is snow up there.
I want to run into all of them.
Yeah. Gosh, mind blown, guys. Thank you.
Guys. Oh my gosh, how incredible.
Awesome.
Seriously, so amazing.
Barbell, are you ready?
It doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, we all heard that compliments.
If you want to hold it up.
no, we can see you. We can see you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we can see you.
You just have
You
to
can
hold
see
it
me,
back
but
a
not
little
the
bit.
picture.
Up a little.
If you,
Back up.
Yeah, just move back a little bit.
Your picture a bit.
I think it is actually.
It's working, yeah.
Yeah.
we can see some of it.
Oh,
there we go. I
goodness,
see the mountain range.
Show your.
There it
There you go.
goes.
There you go. Nice.
There it goes. Lovely. It almost looks like there's rays of light
I
coming
know,
through.
that's
Is
what I
that
was
the
thinking.
Look at
Yeah, what is that? That's beautiful.
Wow.
I love your
Maybe I
mountain
will turn
color.
into an artist after all.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
you
love
did a
it,
great
Barbell.
job, Barbell.
Thank you.
Awesome
Yeah, you did
job.
wonderfully. Thank you.
Marcy, I see you have yours up. Oh my goodness.
There you are, Marcy. There we go.
Look at that texture.
Yeah.
Very calm. Very calm.
Very
Yeah.
calm.
Very
Like perfect.
peaceful.
Yeah.
The clouds are just so pretty. I feel like I want to like touch them.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to touch them. But
Thank
what I'm really loving is what was that?
I said thank you. This one was wonderful. It's so beautiful.
Nice. Thank you. What I really love is the water's edge, like the edge of the water. I feel like you blended that so well. You did so well
And
on
also,
that.
Hannah, how the mountains has kind of an ombre gradient, the darker to the lighter, so the perspective, it makes it seem like they're further away, but they blend it.
Yeah, they
nice.
blend. They blend. I love it.
So
Thank
nice.
you.
Wonderful job as always, Marcy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
And Sharon, I see you got it up.
Oh, there you are, Sharon. Oh, I love it. Those
I
are really
love the blue
nice.
shades on both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on one. We're on
Like I feel like the shape of the clouds is lovely, but I'm especially loving like the lighter outline around the clouds on the one that you're holding, Sharon. And I really love how realistic the clouds look on the other one. I feel like it's realistic. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
how the mountains
you.
are different too. Your
Yeah,
perspective on
yeah.
the mountains. Some are more
Yeah.
rounded, some are more point. Oh my gosh, great
Yep.
job.
Fun
Gorgeous.
class.
Great
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
River, the river is awesome.
And then Laurel, I see you have yours up. Oh my
There
goodness,
we
look at
go.
that. And
Look
look at
at
the
all
clouds in
that.
the
All that
water.
texture.
I think it
Oh
needs
my
a little
gosh.
Wow.
but
You yeah, all of your mountains are so impressive.
there's
Wow.
like a lot of brush strokes.
Yeah, that's what I'm loving. I'm loving the variation of brushstrokes. It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
colors and the richness. When I look at that, I see the
Mhm.
Where's my
richness of
dinner?
all of the
Yes.
colors.
Beautiful palette.
Yeah, I'm like, yum. That looks yummy.
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
Laurel,
you.
you are so talented. You should be so proud of
Fantastic.
yourself. Great
Thank
job.
Who's
you.
next? Who's
Okay.
next?
Come on, JP, go.
Andrea, okay, here you go.
Are we doing this?
Yay,
Okay.
Andrea. That
Oh,
is
look at that
nice.
river.
I
Oh,
know.
Yep.
We
I
got late
love
hunts. We
that.
were talking about how much we love the Pliny Mountains, and both of us made late hunts.
no, those are buttes. Those are nice,
I
beautiful buttes in like Montana or North Dakota.
uh-huh.
Just hold it
I
in front
love how crisp you were able to make the lines.
Yes.
It's impressive because you have like we all have so much underneath it, so much paint built up underneath it. So good job on that. Y'all did really good, especially with the water
Great
line.
job. And your clouds and your sky, it
Mhm.
smells refreshing from here. I can just
Ooh,
I
They're
can relax.
clean.
Very
clean
clean.
air, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Who's next? If you'd like to.
I can go.
Brandy, while you're turning off
Yeah.
your fuzziness, we'll have Marianne go. Oh
There
my
we
gosh,
go.
look at that green.
Look at that. I was literally about to say the same thing, Alexa. Look at that green. I love the green, but I especially love how you're still able to maintain how bright that green is with all the other the darker colors in the background, because it's real easy to get it muddy, and you were able to keep it so bright. I love how you're able to do that.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
so
This was a lot of
bright.
fun.
Good.
And I love the
always learn
reflection
so
you put
much.
too.
You do. Good.
I do.
That makes me happy,
Oh,
Marianne.
as always. And JP, I'm coming. I saw Laurel. I know you were going to show JP, so I'm spotlighting you. You are muted.
You-
Here, I'll come
I don't
back
know if
to you.
she's
I'll go to
saying-
Brandy.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go to Brandy. Yeah. There we go.
Oh,
It matches your shirt.
It does. It does. I love that little bit, those little bits of highlights that you put on the mountain. They're so
yes.
subtle, but they're so nice. And I love the way you're able to not only shape your clouds, but make some nice gradients in the clouds too.
Oh, the light's really bad. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, your mountains have activity on them. I bet people on
Yeah.
their weekends off go and climb them and enjoy nature and your beautiful landscape.
That would
Well,
be
we did that. I remember Hannah did that with somebody made mountains before like that. So I was like, oh, with the
Oh,
the lines.
Job.
And
love it.
you
I can't remember
remember.
what I did. I know.
Yeah.
You
I can't
remember what to
remember what I
do.
Barbara,
did.
I see you. I'm bringing you. Ooh,
Man,
that's
that is
nice.
amazing.
Velvety.
I know. Look at those lines. I'm looking at the lines, but also the shadowing that you did on the mountain. You really took it to another level too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great
And
job with your
the
movement.
brush strokes. I was about to say the movement in the land area is beautiful.
And the
Yeah,
water.
you did great,
Oh,
Barbara.
great job. Great,
Hannah,
great
I
And
was
job.
all
gonna
on
say-
paper.
Yeah. Yours reminds me of Cezanne. So like the brush strokes.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And I didn't used to ever like Cezanne. And then I think because I only like in all my art classes, they only ever showed us one or two of his paintings, and it was always
Yeah,
the same ones
same.
that I didn't like.
Same,
But
yeah.
once I saw more of his work, I was like, oh, I kind of like him. But your painting reminded me of Cezanne. So
That's a
nice.
huge compliment because in art school, I got a 70 on one of my paintings that we were trying to like emulate his painting style, and I got a 70. I was so mad.
No.
So that's a
Well,
huge compliment.
I'm giving you an A+ on this one.
Woo!
You're redeemed.
You
Whoa,
were
thanks,
redeemed,
Barbara.
Dana. Did any
I've
okay,
come a long
JP, I
way.
see you now.
Sorry, I did something and hung up like a
Oh my
like a
gosh,
guy.
did you add a
Yep.
little bit of pink
That is really nice.
to your
And I got my
cloud?
UFO here. See, I got my UFO.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh,
I
We're
love
being
it.
invaded by
gorgeous.
it's always got to have a UFO in it.
The pink,
Thank
the
you all
pink
so
is
much.
gorgeous too. Thank you. Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness,
love
I
what you
love
did
it.
with it. How, to quote American Idol from the early 2000s, you made it your own. You truly
Woohoo.
made it your own and adding the different colors. And oh, I
It's
just love it.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I know. You guys are seriously so good.
Oh,
Well,
it's
thank
like
you
this was
all
my
very much.
favorite part each time. And I'm
Yeah,
like, they blow me away
same.
again and again. It's like the skills carrier. I'm so proud of everyone all the time. I brag on you guys
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. Did anybody else want to share? If I missed you, okay,
I got
Karen.
one.
Karen.
Karen.
As I borrow everybody else's ideas when they show up what they're doing. Whoa,
Woohoo.
look how fuzzy I am. Maybe
There we
it'll
go.
Oh my gosh,
Now we
Karen, that
see
is one of
it.
your best ones yet.
Look at that.
Oh my
That is
gosh.
beautiful.
That looks really nice.
That
Yeah.
looks like it's a real, like it's a painting on a canvas.
Right,
That's
it
what it
doesn't
looks
look
like
like
to
a
me.
computer at all. Digital
No,
art.
not at all.
Well, I couldn't just stay with the the oil brush, so I had
Oh,
to screw around. I'm not happy with the river.
oh, the river. Oh,
You know what, Karen? Usually you're unhappy and then you wake up the next day as it is with
That's true.
everybody.
That's
That's
true.
true.
And you
That's
go,
so
this
true.
is fantastic. Sometimes you just have to step away, go,
Yeah,
That's true.
go look at myself.
I can't
Yay.
think of anything else to do with it. So you did great.
Thank you.
You
I
did
lost my
really
touch because I
amazingly.
haven't been doing this. I
No,
thought when
that
you're
looks
away,
great.
I'm
That
going
was
to
one of
work on
your
a lot of art.
very best.
Yeah.
At the next
Well,
MS group, be sure to brag on yourself and show it.
yeah,
That is so
yeah.
fantastic. Thank you, Karen.
Yes,
Karen,
thanks, Karen.
All right, I'm
Karen,
gonna put my signature on it, my invisible signature, just to go, okay, stop, don't keep working on it. 'Cause sometimes I mess things up.
And
Yeah.
Jeanette. Oh,
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Cool glasses
Hey,
too.
Jeanette.
This is my favorite part, looking at everybody's
There
product.
we go.
Oh, you're muted, Jeanette.
Yeah.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Woohoo!
Well-
I love the sky.
No, the sky, I really have to work on clouds. I don't have the clouds, but you can't see it here, but I accidentally put white over the mountains.
It's
And
nice.
so there's a streak of
Ah,
a light color that makes it look like
It's like a mist. A wind is
Yeah.
blowing the mist across the mountains.
exactly.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
gorgeous.
it's
All
like
of
a
it, your color
it's like a
choices.
happy accident, really. It
And
does
I
look
love
like a
the teal
mist.
on the bottom.
Yeah, the
In the river.
teal. Yeah, it's
This is the first time I actually got acrylics to work with. They're not easy, are they? To work with.
they
Oh,
they
they
take
were.
they take a little practice, a little
Yeah.
bit, but you did fantastically though. I mean,
Oh, yes,
I wouldn't have been able to
absolutely.
tell.
Great
What was that,
job.
Jeanette?
Thank you.
Great job, Jeanette. That is
Thank-
fantastic. Oh my gosh, gorgeous.
Thank
Did
you.
I miss
Thank
anybody?
I have something.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is that you, Maria?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't get my
Yeah.
video. Why can't I? Oh, here we go.
There we go.
I had a really hard time with this one.
Woo!
Oh my
You did so good
goodness.
though. I love it though. I especially love the
Your clouds are
mountains.
very nice.
Oh,
The
mountains,
clouds are
yes.
amazing. The clouds are amazing. I love how in the background, whenever we put like those different types of clouds back there, just the contrast between your mountains and that background and the way you put those clouds in there, I think it's fantastic. I love
Yeah,
how
the clouds
love
are really
You know,
nice.
clean it looks.
You know,
It looks like a
the
waterfall on
way
the right side. It's really
the way you
nice.
have your
Ooh.
Thank
have
you. I
mountains,
have to put it down. It's getting too heavy for me.
Yeah, yeah,
It
totally
was
get it.
fantastic.
your mountains remind me of the Alaska mountain range because they have a series of high peaks like that. Very
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Sort
So
of
your
like
mountains remind her.
Alaska in spring, perhaps.
Oh,
Ooh.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
Wow. Yeah,
That's what
great
clouds-
job, Maria.
Thanks.
And does anyone else want to share? Again, you never have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. As much as we love seeing.
I just wanted to share that I really love watching everybody's picture. It's the highlight of the day for me. When
It is for us too. It's our very
Yeah.
favorite part.
Yeah. Same.
It's amazing to
So
be, you know, that collective brain, you know, that we're all, yeah.
I just want to share that Hannah and Alexa, you bring joy to my life. Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, you guys
You
are
guys
the
bring
best.
so much
Yeah.
joy to us.
You guys are awesome. I
Nothing
love
like
my
that.
my little art family.
Thanks, Hannah.
You're
So
welcome,
Hannah,
you
I
We
will
guys.
enjoyed it.
I will close this out in saying that it is our plan, if all goes as scheduled, to have another veterans art class next month where we send you the supplies, where we have a grand old time, and having another regular AnCan Art Friends as well. And you will be, of course, the first to know, because we consider you more than VIPs. We consider you VIP family. And so whenever we have an
Yes.
announcement, we have your name and we are going to send it to you first before
Mhm.
we send it out. So we will let you know.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
guys,
you.
thanks so much.
Thank
Please
you.
send us your artwork. You can send it to Hannah. You can send it to me.
Yes, I want to
But-
make an Instagram post, so please send me your artwork.
Yes.
Please.
And if you're on
Instagram.
social media, you are always free to tag us as well. Put your art and tag us. And Hannah, is there any announcement you want to make?
Yes, please complete the post-class survey that you guys got in the email. If you haven't done the pre-class, that's okay. The post-class survey is the more important one. It does help. I know I ask the same questions again and again every class, but it does make a difference because the people who give us grants love to see data over time. So please fill that out. It's in the email. Appreciate it.
Thank
Is it
you,
in the email?
Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Hannah.
And we will
Thank
you,
Bye,
everybody.